Hey everybody. So it's now day 11 of 31 and 31, and I finally got a break from the goddamn The Starting movies. And for today's feature film, I'm looking at Mandy. Now, if you've never seen Mandy before, this is a pretty big mindfuck in general. Not that the theme of the movie is that much of a mindfuck, it's really the visuals that are. Color is used extremely well in this movie. I mean, everything is either a shade of red, a shade of purple, or just kind of like a dark, tone. I don't know how else to say that, to be honest with you. But if you don't know what Mandy is, so Mandy is about cults, and Mandy is kind of a revenge film. I'm not really going to go into reasons why, but if you've seen it, you know exactly what I mean. So basically, you have Nicolas Cage here in probably, I wouldn't say it's one of his craziest roles that he has, but he's definitely allowed to let some of that like ridiculous Cage come out in a couple of key scenes in this movie. But basically, he's with this girl named Mandy, and she, on her way home or way to work, one of the two, I don't know where she's necessarily going, but she walks by a cult that is driving by her, and one of the cult members, he is just like, he sees her for a second, and he's like, I gotta have her. And so it just kind of goes from there. It's a movie that again, I'm trying not to spoil any of these movies that are on this Camp Cult list, but it definitely goes in places, or when I originally saw it, that I didn't think that it was going to go. Especially the way that all the trailers and kind of all the, stuff leading up to it, all the media leading up to it, I really wasn't expecting what I ended up getting. It's not to say that it's bad, it's just, it's different. It's different from what I thought it was really going to be, especially after like the halfway point in the movie, kind of the start of the second act. It really just kind of shifts gears, and then as it gets into the third act, it's a little more of the same of what was going on in the second act. You just get the confrontation with the cult. So the highlights of the film are definitely the music. The composer is an Icelandic composer who happened to pass away. This was one of his last films they did. I think it's one of two, and it was dedicated to him. I'm sorry if I cannot remember the name of the guy. I record these more of like a reaction to after seeing it, and it has some very strong performances as well. It's one of those movies where Nicolas Cage does what Nicolas Cage does best, and it's not ridiculous. Like, it kind of fits everything that's going on. There's also a very strong performance from the head of the cult, Jeremiah. He's really good. He's just, I feel like they're not maybe in it as much as I want it to be, but they're in big parts of the movie, so it's kind of like, okay. And there's a really great scene. Well, it's not the greatest of scenes at the very end of the movie, but it definitely is, it's really fucking funny, the words that come out of his mouth. Again, if you've seen it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's, the thing is that sometimes I think it's too stylized for its own good. It starts off a little slow, right? It's not a slow burn, but like the beginning is a little slower than maybe I'd want it to be. But then when things kick off, they fucking kick off, and it gets really crazy with what happens. I remember when I saw the original trailer, and which you're probably looking at over there if you haven't seen this movie, I really thought that there was going to be, I don't want to say substance, like that's the word that comes to mind, but just a little more, like, a little more oomph, maybe that's a better word for it, to what was going to happen. Because even some of the fights and stuff that go on, they're pretty stylized. And in general, it's more about the atmosphere and the mood than anything else. It's not necessarily, on the whole story, because the story is relatively simple when you get to it. and that's fine. It actually suits the movie pretty well. I mean, for what it is, it just lays itself on the line, and it lives or dies by it. And some people, I feel like they're going to feel like it's a little pretentious, because even I did when I first saw the movie. You know, there's a lot of people that I know that really, 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 really love this movie. And I'm in the camp of, I like this movie a lot. I don't love it. It just, like I said, for some of the little things that just really needed more than just the stylized like look and feel of the film. There's these little animated pieces that show up in the middle, like as almost like your separations between acts, and those are kind of cool. But it's like Blood Quantum when they did it in that. I just want a little more, maybe. Like if you're gonna throw those in, let's have a whole big sequence of everything that pops up in the film. So it's just that you know, I feel like I'm just missing something, not like a terrible lot of things, but there's just something else. There's just something else I really want in this film. And maybe it's just a little more with the cult guys, because when we get to the cult guys, it goes rather quick at that point. There's the guys on the ATVs that you see, which they call a biker gang, but I've never known an ATV gang to be called a biker gang, so they're an ATV gang. And like the sequences with those when you know, Cage is interacting with those, his character is, they're great. There's also a great, and I'm not going to fuck this name up again, there's some great little section with Richard Brake, who I did not like when I first saw Doom. Okay, that's my first like exposure to that guy. And ever since then, the movies that I've seen him in, even if he's got little small roles, I'm so fucking excited, because he really does a great job. And he's just in a little bit of this movie, and I like his little scene. There are some really cool scenes that are those stylized scenes that just really well work. Like there's one where Mandy is being talked to by Jeremiah, and you're looking at him, you know, and then you're looking at her, and their faces are like melded on top of each other, and it's really creepy. And they look almost like the same exact person. And it makes me feel that the reason that he was after her, because she reminded him of himself, and like that was like a narcissistic need to have him. And that interaction gets relatively funny in there. There is also a lot of wang in this movie, so just be forewarned, you got a lot of male nudity that I originally wasn't expecting, and I remember that it was in there. I just didn't remember it was like that much, and it's more than just once. So it's like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I don't have to have a movie with any nudity, to be honest, and I don't just need to have female nudity. You know, male nudity is fine too, whatever, it is what it is, you know, but it's just weird, like, have it in here. But the initial scene with it is actually such a great, like, scene that I didn't care, like, the whole thing that was set up and the music really does fit every scene that it's in. There's also the scene where she's tripping balls because she's been given LSD, and you get to see like ghost images of her face and like arms and stuff like that. And it feels like it's only on her, and it's really cool, like the way that looks. Like I said, there's a lot of style to this movie. It's just that at times I really just feel it lacks that substance. Like, it's not to say that it's, you know, just tons of style, nothing else. It's just that sometimes I just wish it didn't try to be as arty as it is and as it needs to be. And maybe that's what kind of gets me when I'm watching this movie. So overall, I'm going to give this film 3 out of 5 cheddar goblins. And I think that it's worth a watch. If you are on the fence about watching it, you've never seen it, it's currently on Shudder, at least at the time of this recording. So go check it out if you have Shudder. If you don't have Shudder and you like horror, I don't know what to tell you. Go get fucking Shudder. It's like $3 or $4 a month, maybe $5 a month. It's worth it. They've got a lot of really cool shit, like the Creepshow stuff, which is fucking awesome. So I do recommend this movie. I think that you'd see it. It's just got some stuff that leads me a little bit below getting the 4-star rating, or maybe it's more like a 3.5 cheddar goblins out of 5. Maybe I'll leave it at that. 3.5 cheddar goblins out of 5. So again, worth a watch. And definitely, I think that some people, it's going to be one of those your miles may vary type of movie, and either you're going to really like it or you're just going to think it's a little bit too much style and too artsy for you. So I guess we'll be seeing you later. If you haven't checked out the other Camp Cult videos, they're going to be right over there once again in the playlist, and please go check them out. Everybody that's been checking these things out, I really thank you. And don't forget to check out the latest podcast episode on the Devil's Rejects. We're continuing Zombie Ween. That's 2 down. We've got 1 more to go, 2 more to go, and then a very special episode. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you next time on the 31 and 31 Camp Cult.